right. So, welcome to the Philly Fox and Danny D podcast. That's John Philly Fox, and I'm Danny D. Eduardo. We are coming to you from the Ed Bobco Memorial Studios in beautiful Morristown, Pennsylvania. Today, we're going to break down and give our take on Week 13, Eagles at the Ravens. The Eagles won the game by a score of 24-19 in Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium. It was a chilly night. So good win for the Eagles. What do you think, John? What do you think, Philly?
It was a great win against a contending team, especially in their barn.
Yeah, absolutely, right. Against a league leader for MVP voting right now, and a good defense and a high-powered off and a good running back. It was going to be a good test, right?
And they passed it with flying colors.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's see. So let's start with well, what do you think? So going into this game, John, what do you think the keys are going to be? What do you think Philadelphia has to do to win this game?
We'll stop Lamar and Henry. The Ravens are a run-heavy offense.
Okay, right. Okay, well, obviously, right, because he's. Is he leading the AFC in rushing this year?
I guess Derrick Henry second to Saquon only.
Okay, but in the AFC,
He's
though,
the leader,
he's
though.
he's the leader, right? Okay, only second to Saquon, and we like that, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then of course we've got Lamar. So yeah, so a real good test, stopping those guys, and so the defense is really gonna be key here, right? Who are you looking for to have a good game tonight? Who do you think going into this is gonna be key?
Quinion Mitchell because he's been shutting down receivers and making great tackles on everybody.
Right, right. So of course that frees up the defensive line to do their thing, right? Because they know that they can attack Lamar, and that the secondary's got their back, right?
Right.
Okay. So anyway, Eagles got the ball to start the game, and what did they do? What did they do for that on that first drive?
Well, they had like a 5-yard handoff to Barkley and just went pass after that.
Right. Okay, and which led to a punt. So not exactly what a lot of fans thought the beginning of the game was going to be. Right. They kind of thought maybe Barkley might get it a second or third time, right, and maybe get a few first downs that way. Okay, so well, it didn't go that way. So they punted the ball, and then what happened on that? Was there a penalty
No, there was no penalties.
on the punt?
Oh yeah, on the punt. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It was on Ringo.
It was on Ringo, right? And that was what on the fair catch.
Yes.
There was a fair catch called, and then Ringo interfered with them.
That's 15 yards.
15 yards, right? They survived it, but actually, I mean, it was kind of a dumb penalty, and definitely not something that you want him to be doing later on in the game or at a more critical point in the game.
Yeah.
So they punted the ball, and then what happened after that? So what did the
yes.
Eagles? So what did the
Well, the Sweat sack, but it was nullified by the Maddox holding penalty.
right, right. So we had another penalty that kind of that hurt the Eagles. So not a great way to start the game with two big penalties, right?
Right.
Okay. So then what did so then he ended up so that extended the drive, and well now Jalen Carter got a sack, right? What happened there?
He just like shot through everybody.
Shot right through. Man, he is just so disruptive, isn't he?
Yes.
I mean, you're not old enough to remember, but I got to tell you, I think he's one of the most disruptive defensive linemen and that I've seen since Jerome Brown. Unfortunately, he had a short career. Died at a young age. And would have definitely been a Hall of Famer. Anyway, but yeah, he is just so disruptive. I mean, they have to double team him all the time, and that just opens things up for his teammates, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then what happened? So then he gets that, gets the sack, but then the Ravens still ended up with a field goal. And it was, what, 3-0?
Except Lamar missed a wide open pass to Mark Andrews. That would have been a touchdown.
Oh, right before that, exactly. Okay, you're right. And that would have been a touchdown. So we really lucked out that it was only 3-0 because it could have just as easily been 7-0, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now the Eagles get the ball back, and what happened on that? What happened on that next drive?
They went 3 and out again because they ran it. Then they just went pass.
Yeah, repeat of the first time, and of course, we're sitting there watching it, wondering, man, why aren't they giving the ball more to Saquon? I mean, this is the guy that everybody's talking about. Maybe an MVP candidate, even though running backs don't usually get that kind of thing, that type of award. But having a potentially record-breaking season, you think that we would be using them more, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, so they had to punt the ball to the Ravens, and that drive ended up with a touchdown to Andrews, right? Now, was that the one that...
Yep.
that
He leaped up and made that catch.
Yeah. Well, luckily he was as tall as he was. And I don't know. I'd like to see the replay in slow motion on that from a different angle. It almost looked like that ball wasn't for him. That he cut right in front of 80, and actually snagged the pass in front of. And there was 3 Eagles defenders there at that time. So it was a great catch on his part, and you got to give Lamar some credit on that pass too. So anyway, so now they missed the extra point, which
Keeps it 9-0.
keeps it 9-0, and the what's his name again? The punter Tucker. So that's another another mark against him for the day. He's not he didn't end up having a good day. So all right, so now we got
Second quarter.
second quarter. All right, and we got but Lamar, right? He was where do we got? Why I got him written in here is getting frustrated. I'm on the wrong page. Okay, so that's right. So let's back up here. So after that touchdown, right?
C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson has a big powwow with the defense over there, and he's kind of getting them all pumped up and saying, "Hey, man, it's 9-0." I'm just paraphrasing. Obviously, I don't know what he said, but he's basically telling them, "Hey, we're down 9-0, and this is not what we came here to do, right? We came here to we should be doing that to them. It should be the opposite. We should be up 9-0, right?" So anyway, and it seemed to work, and they because when the next time they came out, they didn't let them score. All right, so Jalen gets we get the ball, and Jalen gets sacked. That was the one where he came up in the pocket and was sprinting off to the right and got sacked from behind, right? Do you remember?
He was indecisive. Like he didn't know where he was going to throw the football.
Yeah. And actually, that's true in that moment. He did do a better job of that for the most part for the day, but the first half, his passing numbers weren't great. And then that might have been one that maybe he should have
just threw it away.
Just threw it away, right, and not taken
a sack and lost yardage.
Right, exactly. Okay, so let's see. Jalen got. Then they punted it, but they got a really good. They got a really good punt on that, and I think that was the one where they kept them. They got them down to around the 4. And but they put a drive on, and but Lamar started getting frustrated. It seemed like the defense was really starting to get to him. He missed receivers. He missed number 80. That was wide open, and then
Bad handoff, which
he,
resulted in a fumble that he recovered but lost yardage.
right. So I mean, he was really looking frustrated. He was laughing it off when they were showing close-ups. You could see him smiling, and it was almost like,
Like he couldn't believe what was happening.
yeah, he couldn't. He really, I mean, we couldn't believe what was happening. I mean, he was missing wide open people. He was stumbling. Didn't know what to do with the ball on the handoff. But again, credit the Eagles' defense on that because they were really doing a good job of
Neutralizing him as a runner, like he wasn't like running all over us.
right, exactly. He wasn't the MVP candidate that night. So let's see what else we got here. So then we got Barkley was stopped in the backfield. So we had that was open in the second quarter there. We had Barkley stopped in the backfield, and then we got another good punt, and we pinned them down on the 1 yard line. And they had a good defensive stand, and is that when we got the and then that was 3 and out, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, and then we got the ball back.
And then that's when the offense started to take flight.
That's right. There we go. And that's when Jalen, I think that was a screen pass on that series of downs, and the might have been those. There was there some passes to AJ? Was AJ involved in that drive?
They were sprinkling like passes to AJ. I think won the Dodson. I remember.
Oh, right. Yeah, we won't want to forget that. Give Dotson some credit. I mean, he's filling in an important role with Devontae out, right?
Yes.
So, then that ended up with the Goddard score, which was how long? That was forgot to write down the distance on that. The pass.
Well, either way, it made 9-7.
Yep, absolutely. So we got 9-7 score, and then in the next series, Baltimore gets the ball, and
Jordan Davis stops the run.
yeah, Jordan Davis, and he was, and also.
It's a Zach Vaughn in the backfield. He's been a beast this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that guy came out of nowhere. I saw where actually in college he was. I think he was recruited as an offensive player, and then got changed over to defense. And somehow this guy then gets drafted, works his way into New Orleans as a special teams player. And somehow Howie finds him and brings him into the Eagles and is having an incredible year. I hope they take care of this guy and re-sign him, do what they have to keep him, because he's definitely been a big part of the defense this year.
He was the Hassan Reddick replacement, but he might be even better than Reddick at this point, 'cause
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
for a lot less cheaper. So
Yeah, right. Absolutely. And considering how that whole thing, how his whole season has gone so far.
Yes.
Yeah, we definitely we might have dodged a bullet there. So, all right, and then that's so now we got him. And where do we have next? So Jalen's making and on that drive we like we said, we want to give Jalen credit, right? Because he was making a lot of good reads and passing the ball short and mid-range passes, and taking what the
defense was given him.
Taking what the defense was giving him, right? So we want to give Jalen credit. We want to give Kellen Moore credit, right, for the
figuring it out.
For figuring it out and the play calling, okay, and one of my notes says AJ was on fire. I mean, I think he had like
Nice catches.
three catches in that drive. You know, Goddard got the touchdown, but AJ and Jalen was a big part of getting them down the field to score. And then we got there was a muff snap on the score.
On the tush push.
On the tush push.
At the 1 yard line.
Oh, at the 1 yard line. Okay. And so then they didn't score on that one.
Well, they did score because Jalen recovered it.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you you got such a good memory, Johnny. You help out this old man every now a lot.
Well, it made it 14-9 Eagles.
And it was 14-9 Eagles. So now they're in the lead, and they really never looked back after that point.
Well, Ravens got it on the next drive and got into field goal range, right before half.
Right, and they made it and they made it 14-12, but still
it's better than a touchdown.
Right, they kept the lead and they kept control of the game. And considering the way the second half, started, it's kind of good that
because the Ravens got the ball at the half, but
right, because they were going to be getting the ball for the beginning of the second half. So, and also, and we want to remember that we also want to give Nolan Smith some credit, right?
Because he got a sack for a 4-yard loss,
right? Which
made the field goal tougher, but
right. Yeah, I mean he still made it, but you never know with the kind of day Tucker had, right? Yes. He might have missed it. So, okay. So we go into halftime. It's a 14-12 score, yes. And so we're feeling better, but it's still a close game. How did you feel going into halftime, John?
I thought if the defense kept up the pressure, that we would win and hold on. So.
Good, yeah, and then what about Barkley? Did you think they were gonna
shut him down the whole game?
Yeah.
Well, I knew he would wake up eventually.
Right. But, yeah, not so much him waking up as much as yeah, I know what you meant though, right? Like it wasn't him; it was just the run game in general, and the fact that they weren't. Didn't do it enough, right? Because that's how the run game works, right? You know, you run, and it wears down the defense. And then in the second half, and the third and fourth quarters, especially the fourth quarter, that's when it really should pay dividends. So anyway, third quarter wasn't the best quarter for the Eagles. I don't know what the time of possession was for the Ravens, but it seemed like they had the ball most of the third quarter.
Though it didn't mean anything because they were missing field goals left and right.
Right, and that's and good thing Tucker. So he missed 2 field goals
in the third quarter back to back.
Back to back. I mean that's not good. But we did have some. We did have some good play from the defense, right? Yes. The guy we were talking about earlier gets a
sack on Lamar, Zach Bond,
right? Another one of Howie's finds paying dividends, and this year. So let's see now. Okay, so we missed the field goal. The Eagles can't move the ball and punt. Lamar's huddle. Everybody hurdling. Oh! Lamar hurdled the player. Is that what happened?
Well, he tried to, but then
okay.
I think it was Carter Johnson or somebody who stopped it.
Oh, okay.
He stopped him from getting the first down, even though they went for it and got it.
Okay. Yeah. Because I thought it was funny because Saquon does that reverse hurdle earlier in the season, and now it seems like everybody is trying to copy it in some form or another, not just in the pros, but in college. Probably and saw it in other games that weekend. So yeah, I thought that was funny. And then
they went for the
and then actually it wasn't
Yeah, it was fourth
Yeah,
and one,
and then lately tried it too, right?
or likely.
Likely. Yeah. Sorry, likely. Lately, that's funny, right? What have you done for me lately? Likely. But anyway, I remember when he was hurdling that guy,
Yeah.
and one of the Eagles guy got one of his foot right in the face and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of funny. Anyway, but luckily for us, Tucker missed
Another field goal.
another field goal, and so
Then the Eagles took control after, like they got the offense going after that.
right, and so Ravens get the ball on what did I write there on the 4 after? Well, that was later. Yeah, that should have been
Earlier.
Yeah, that was earlier. I don't know how I wrote that out of sequence. Sorry, people. But anyway, so now what are we up to? We got the Eagles starting on the 28-yard line, and they need a score.
They got past to Goddard for the first down. Like that's how they started the drive.
Okay, and then Saquon ran the ball, and he got another first down. Hurts
Ran for one as well.
for first down, and then we got Saquon who ran in for the TD.
Make it 21-12.
21-12. So the Eagles have a really good lead here going into the game. There's only a minute and I'm sorry. After the touchdown, there was only 7:56 left. So they have a pretty good lead, and they're feeling pretty good about the game.
And then that's when the Ravens, it was 4th and 8 at their own side of the field, but they had to go for it because it was late in the game.
Right.
The Eagles stopped them, and then they got a short field to get another field goal.
Right.
They get 24-12.
Right. So yeah, the score at the end looked a little bit closer, but it really wasn't as close as it looked. At least not for the fourth quarter.
Yes.
Up until then, the game actually was kind of close, especially with no scoring in the third.
Yes.
So overall, a really good win for the Eagles.
I guess on the road too. So.
Yeah, on the road, and remember they never have won
In Baltimore.
before, or at least not against the Ravens. I think they won against the
Colts years ago. But...
Yeah, the old Baltimore Colts before they moved in the middle of the night to Indianapolis.
Still their first win in Baltimore as against the Ravens.
Against the Ravens. So it's I think it's a really big win, and I think the way they won was really good because Jalen didn't play the same game that Jalen played
against the Rams,
or against other players, right? Like
yes.
he was. We had the short game. He had the screen passes, all things that we said that he was a little lacking in up until now. The defense, right? I mean, there was we got Jordan Davis, we got Jalen Carter, we got Zach Bond. We had some really great plays. Some big tackles. Other than the 2 penalties, what do you think about the special teams? I mean, the special teams were great.
Well,
right?
They were pinning Baltimore deep, like the 4-yard line, the 1-yard line.
Right. I mean, to do that 2 times, it was 2 times in a row, right?
Yes.
And both inside the 5. I mean, that's hard enough to do once, and then so the punter has to punt well, but the coverage has to be there, right, to get the ball before it goes in the end zone, to down the ball. So that was really good special teams. So the offense played well, the defense played well, played really well. We had special teams playing well. So I think it was a really good game all around.
It was.
Absolutely. And so now, if you want to, let's just take a quick glance at. So now everybody kind of has been putting, as far as the NSC has been putting it, the Eagles
For the
and
Lions.
the Lions at the top. And I got to tell you right now, if you would have asked me a week or two ago, I would have still had the Lions slightly ahead, just because of some of the depth that they have at their positions and the amount of points that they've been putting up. But with that loss, well, not almost loss, or should have been a loss, could have been a loss to the Bears, and the fact that they've got some injuries mounting up.
They play a tough Packers team on Thursday night.
Yeah, so and there's still quite enough. So there's how many games left in the season? So irregardless, it doesn't matter. But it is 4 games. We can
Past the Lions.
Well, yeah, the Lions. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think we've passed them at this point. I really do. I think we're just as balanced as a team, and I think we're healthier because other than BG, we don't have anybody that's out that's not going to be back. Devontae.
Be back next week.
He should, yeah, right. I mean,
he was practicing, albeit limited.
Right, limited practices, but he didn't have a full practice, and the hamstring injury. They always say that they like him to go at least one full practice before you go play in a game. So I think injury, but injuries can happen to anybody, But right now, I think they've moved ahead of the Lions. So next game is going to be
the Carolina Panthers at home.
At home at 1 o'clock. Okay, at the Link. So obviously, we're picking them. We're picking the Eagles to win that game, right?
Yes.
But are you afraid that they're going to maybe overlook the Panthers and maybe be a little too confident?
Look ahead to the Steelers game the following week.
Right, which is always a tough game, and the Steelers are a playoff
9-3
team
right now.
Right, they're a playoff team this year, and the coach out there, Tomlin, right? He's always got that team ready to play. Where is that game?
It's
John?
in Philly, though.
It's in Philly. Okay, well that helps.
The Steelers haven't won Philly since the '60s.
Okay, well that helps. Okay, so we can feel better. But anyway, yeah. So I think this is where Sirianni, Coach Sirianni's going to pay dividends, right? That's why it doesn't matter that he's not an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. He's focused on keeping this team focused. And when you hear him talk, he talks about, look, we're working on the little things. We're always trying to go back and see what we did wrong and what we can fix, and that's his job. I was getting a little irritated when people
were saying fire him and stuff.
Not just firing him, but asking him, well, if you're not a coordinator and you don't call the plays, then what are you? What's your job? I mean, to think that a head coach in the NFL's only job is to call plays, whether it's on offense or defense, is just so silly. I mean, there's so many moving parts to a team, and he's the one that's responsible for it. He's the one that's responsible for coordinating it. So if the defense had a good game and the offense had a good game and special teams had a good game, well, those coordinators deserve an attaboy, but he deserves an attaboy for them doing their job and giving them the leeway to do it. I mean, Vic Fangio, right? He's a really good defensive coordinator. What do you think of him?
He's got them have the #1 defense statistically in the league right now. So
right, and he's a little old school, right?
Oh yes, yeah. It's working. So
yeah. So he's got those guys playing hard, and Kellen Moore is working with
Jalen in the offense.
With Jalen in the offense, and he's doing a good job of mixing it up. Heck, he had us fooled, right? So maybe it was a really good game plan for him to not run as much as we thought he should, right?
Well, especially if the Ravens were selling out to stop the run.
Exactly, right? So he did a good job. But so getting back to what we were saying is, so we got to give Sirianni a lot of credit here, especially since people wanted him
Fired.
right, because he shaved his head and
All that,
and
yeah.
ever whatever. The guy's emotional. We all have our moments. Well, anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up. I think we covered everything we want to cover. Looking forward to our next one. So we'll be coming to you again next week, following the
Eagles,
Eagles Carolina Panthers game, and we'll see you then. This is Danny D
And Philly Fox.
saying bye.
Bye.